What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are staying safe and you've been doing well since the last time I posted. Now, it's a beautiful sunny morning here in Florida. There's a nice breeze going right now, or at least there was about 5 minutes ago. And it's not too hot out right now, so I figured I'd give you guys another outside video. You guys seem to like the outdoor videos, so if you like them more and more, let me know. I'll keep trying to film outside as much as I can if you guys enjoy seeing that. Now, today's video is about my thoughts about the Rajah Jackson incident. Now, if you don't know what happened and who Rajah Jackson is the son of Rampage Jackson, who was a former UFC fighter. He also, if you're not a fight fan, he also spent some time in, I believe it was TNA for a while. He was doing some stuff there. So this is a kid that has spent his entire life around fighting and around wrestling. Now, last month at a pro wrestling event, I believe it was for KnokX Pro Wrestling, KnokX, so I'm just going to say KnokX, although I've heard a couple people say it a couple different ways. KnokX Pro Wrestling. Now, what happened is Rajah had a film crew following him around all day, and he had basically what was supposed to be a beatdown spot where he jumps in from the crowd, slides into the ring, and beats up one of the wrestlers in the ring whose in-ring name was Syko Stu. Now, this spot was just a spot that happens all the time in wrestling. There's beatdown spots from people jumping out of the audience or from people coming from backstage. These happen all the time. I'm a massive wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling my entire life. I've never seen anything like this happen. Rajah just decides to go off script, and he doesn't even just decide in the moment to do it. He premeditatedly on the stream for the 12 preteen girls he was streaming for, says that he's going to beat this man up, and then proceeds to try to beat this man up and end his life. And he would have ended Stu's life had he not been pulled off of him by the guys who were in the ring with him, who he then attempted to beat as well. So it wasn't just like he was just beating this guy. Once he got pulled off of him, he also attempted to beat up the guys that he was also in the ring with. Now, Rajah was not arrested initially. He left the event. He went on about his life. He was just arrested this past Thursday. I believe it was just on a felony assault charge. It wasn't like a felony attempted first-degree premeditated murder charge, a first-degree murder charge, which I believe it should be, but I'll get to that in just a minute. But he was just arrested. I believe it's like a $50,000 bond, and being the son of Rampage Jackson, even if he had to pay that full amount, which you guys both know, I believe you only have to pay about 10% of that, unless the bond was higher. I might be mixing my numbers up here, but even if it was $50,000 on the nose, he's very clearly come from a place where he can afford whatever a bond may be. In his case, he could afford $1 million bond and it wouldn't be a big deal to him, because that's just how rich his dad is. I'm not ragging on him for having money. I wish I had that kind of money, but that's just the reality of the situation. Now, he probably had to wait because he was just at least overnight because of just the time he was arrested. So he at least had to spend a night in jail. But that's essentially the incident. We're at a point where maybe we're waiting for trial. Maybe we're waiting for other charges. But that's where we are right now with this incident. And what are my thoughts? You know, like I already just said, I'm a massive lifelong wrestling fan. I've never stepped foot in a wrestling ring. A few years ago, I wanted to go to wrestling school. I just didn't have the money. So that's neither here nor there. I'm not telling you a sob story. That's just what it is. I've been a massive wrestling fan my entire life, but I've never stepped foot inside of a wrestling ring. So I know that there's a difference between being a fan of wrestling and being one of the performers that puts your body on the line every night for the entertainment of these crowds. So I'm not trying to conflate the two. I'm just saying, hey, I've been watching wrestling my entire life. Now, Syko Stu was a wrestler. He had like some sort of incident before where he had hit Rajah with like a gimmicked beer can because he had a camera crew around him, and he thought that Rajah was a wrestler that he was setting up a storyline with, or he was attempting to set up a storyline with. Now, Rajah said that, hey, that beer can didn't hurt me, and Stu even apologized afterward. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not quoting him directly. Basically saying, hey, my bad. And it looks like they passed it off because Rajah's film crew caught this all on stream. Rajah's film crew also caught on stream, excuse me, if I can pronounce words correctly, that another wrestler telling him to give Stu a receipt. Now, a receipt is not an attempted murder. That's very obvious. Raja should know this. And I don't necessarily blame that other guy for saying, hey, give him a receipt. But at the same time, I do, because why are you telling another grown man that he should give that guy a receipt? But he did, in his favor, in his on his side, ask him, hey, do you know what a receipt is, right? And Raja acknowledged that he knows what a receipt is. So a receipt is basically, hey, you hit me too hard or something happened, and I'm giving you a receipt back. Like, you stiffed me too hard with a punch in our match, as an example, so I'll stiff you back either in this match or the next match. It's not, hey, we had an incident before the match, and then I'm gonna attempt to end your life on live stream. Those are two totally different things. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have, Stu in no way should have expected Raja to attempt to end his life because of some gimmick beer can spot, even if the beer can wasn't gimmick, that he apologized for, that Raja seemingly accepted the apology for, and they both move forward like adults. That's not the same thing. That's not what a receipt is. So I don't blame him for necessarily saying give him a receipt, but also at the same time, why are you telling someone else to give him a receipt? And that's not, to my understanding, what a receipt is. So you know what I'm getting with there? So I'm not necessarily blaming him, but I'm also kind of confused at the same time why he's saying that, because that's not, to my understanding, what a receipt's supposed to be. Because when you step in between the ropes, you're supposed to be able to trust the people that you're in the ring with. So this isn't an incident that stemmed from a previous wrestling match that they had together. It stemmed from something that happened when Raja was not a competitor, and then he decides to attempt to murder him live on stream. Now, a lot of people reacted to this, from wrestlers to non-wrestling people to everywhere in between. Everyone was talking about this incident, and everyone's saying, hey, why did they wait a month to arrest Raja? They should have arrested him that night, which I totally agree with. I don't understand why they waited. The only thing that I can think of as far as, hey, why did we wait to arrest Raja? Because everyone's talking about it, and maybe they decided to go, hey, we gotta wait for this to die down so we can arrest him, because this pro wrestling school that had a relationship, past tense, because WWE terminated their relationship with this company, with WWE, was telling these wrestlers, saying, hey, don't cooperate with police, don't talk to them. They weren't saying, hey, if the police want to talk to you, get a lawyer, which is smart. I'm never gonna knock you for getting a lawyer before you talk to the police. As a matter of fact, I'm saying that's what you should do that. But that's not what they were saying. They were saying, hey, don't talk to the police. If the police try to talk to you, talk to us first. Don't cooperate with the police. But even with that being said, they had this incident on camera. They very easily should have and could have arrested Raja for assault or first-degree murder, premeditated attempted first-degree murder in California, which carries the possibility of potentially up to a life sentence for premeditated attempted first-degree murder in the state of California, where this took place. They very easily could have arrested him and been like, okay, we can charge him with XYZ, and then we can maybe later, when we get into the point where we actually have to have these charge hearings, for lack of the actual term, where we're actually announcing what we're charging him with, we can slap him with more charges later. Let's just get him in custody so he can't abscond from the state, he can't leave the country, none of that. So they very likely and should have arrested him that night when this incident happened. They just didn't. So I agree there with everybody saying, hey, I don't understand why they waited this long to arrest him. So I don't know what's going to happen here, because this case is probably going to take forever. I'd be surprised if we had a resolution to this case by the end of this year, because you know how stuff like this works in California. Raja's team is gonna attempt to put it off and put it off and put it off for as long as they can. But yeah, I think Raja should go to prison for a long time, because he very clearly attempted to murder a man live on his stream and with premeditation. So I think he should go to prison for a long time. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this story, what you think should happen to Raja, if anything at all. And as always, guys, hit the like button, comment, share it, subscribe, all that jazz. Hit the bell icon so you always stay notified when I upload more videos. Until next time, guys, have fun and stay safe.